Here is something nobody in the banking industry wants you to figure out. The harder you work for yourself, the less the bank thinks you are worthy. Not because you're not making enough money, not because you are a risky person, and definitely not because how the system was built and who it was built for. So if you are self-employed and if you run your own business, you own some rental properties, or you work for yourself in any capacity, you have felt this in the past. And I'm going to show you some behind the scenes why this happened, how we can fix it. Maybe you felt this when you applied for a home mortgage. Maybe you applied for a business loan. And maybe you haven't applied for a loan yet, but somebody told you it was going to be painful and you believe them because everything you heard at this point is pointing in the same direction. So why does a bank trust a stranger with just a pay stub more than you? Someone who's built something from nothing. Think about this for a second. A person who took zero risk, worked for someone else, and could be laid off anytime, the bank rolls out a red carpet for them. You, on the other hand, someone who survived slow months, made the payrolls, and figured it all out for years, you get interrogated. Why do they ask you for 2 years of return, 3 months of bank statements, 12 months of business records, a letter explaining this deposit, a letter explaining that explanation of that expense, and then they still maybe say no? Because they are not trying to understand your business. They're just trying to find a reason to say no. And if you're not going to speak the language, you're not going to get what the answer you're expecting. Have you ever sat down across a loan officer and felt like the more you explain yourself, the worse it gets? Like every answer you give them opens up more and more questions. Like you are being punished for being honest. And that feeling is not in your head. That is the process working exactly the way it was designed to work. And here's the one that really gets me. Why does a person who takes less financial risk in life gets the most access to capital? A W-2 employee, someone who makes the same amount of money every 2 weeks, work for a company they did not build, has no idea what a balance sheet looks like and gets approved in weeks. Whereas you, on the other side, who reads your own P&L, manages the cash flow, pays quarterly taxes, runs the team, you get a 2-month long process that almost feels like a disposition. Why is that? And here's the part that really stinks when you think about it. When you walk into a bank with everything stacked against you, low net income on paper, self-employment scrutiny, a process that already feels like it's looking for a reason to say no, do you think you're going to be in any position to negotiate? Do you think you can push back on that rate they gave you? Do you think you can even question their fees? Or do you think you can even walk away from the table because the terms aren't quite right? You can't, and the bank knows that. They have always known that. I'll come back to that on my next video because I have lived this, and when I tell you what I accepted just to get the loan closed, you're going to understand exactly what I mean. Because here's what I want you to hear right now. There is a fix. There is a way to walk into a bank and have them see exactly what you need them to see. There is a way to get funded the way serious investors get funded, without the interrogation, without the endless documentation request, and without losing 2 months of life every time you want to grow. And I know this because I went from the person who almost lost his home to the person with 40 rental doors and a fund strategy that works every single time. It did not happen accidentally, and it did not happen overnight. But it started the day I stopped fighting the system and started learning how to speak the language they understand. So in my next video, I'm going to show you this strategy. What happened to me in 2015? I sold my house. I couldn't get cleared for new loan. I had 2 young kids. And the reason I was in that situation is the exact same reason why most self-employed individuals get stuck. Link's going to be in the bio, and I will see you guys in the next video.